Hello there everybody, and welcome back to another episode of An Ecologist Plays, the channel where we are learning more about nature by playing games. And we are back in Ark, as you can see, and we just had a nice little fight there between Carnotaurus and Calicotherium, and we have tamed both those species previously. Now today I am again trying to go and find some wonderful beehives so that we can actually have honey at our base. However, I have thus far still been unsuccessful. I'm going to still try and see, hopefully, we can get a hive which actually has a queen bee in it. We again have a Spinosaurus down there. Previously we have, of course, already tamed one. I have in the meantime tamed a very low level again, but we are looking for a male Spinosaurus so we can actually start breeding, and that one there is again a female. Back at the base I do have something awesome that I'm going to be showing you guys in a little bit, but for now let's go and see if we can find a honeybee or a beehive. Alright, we have our first beehive, and let's have a look and see if we are fortunate enough that this time with the first try we get a hive that actually has a bee in it. It is destroyed, but no bees, I'm afraid. On to the next one again. Unfortunately, nope. Now, these do appear to be hives made up of quite a few rings of, well, of honeycomb, which gives it this structure, and there probably would be quite a few bees living in this. Now, contrary to popular belief, most bee species are in fact not eusocial like this. Most are actually relatively solitary or form small colonies, don't form these big colonies. This hive almost reminds me of some kind of paper wasp type of hive, but again, no bees. Now, in order for a bird like this Argentavis to actually destroy a nest, they need to be specially adapted. And there are not that many bird species that actually are adapted to feeding on wasps or bees by destroying their nest. One does come to mind, and that is the European honey buzzard, or the honey buzzards overall. They are very well adapted to taking on beehives and wasps as well. They do love going for wasps. Other species like the honey guide, for example, which also loves feeding on the larvae of bees, they don't have the equipment necessary to actually break open a beehive. The beehives are not designed to be broken open easily, as we are also struggling here to actually break it open. They are designed to really keep the colony safe. But in South Africa, where we do have honey guides, which love eating the bee larvae, they will very often enlist the help of another animal, the honey badger. And by leading the honey badger to the beehives can then be broken open by the honey badger. And once it is open, the honey badger and the honey guide will then be able to actually feed on the honey and the larvae inside. They're really more after the larvae of the bees than they are after the honey. Honey doesn't really have that many nutrients in it. Yes, it has got sugar, but sugar does not a balanced meal make. Instead, what they are after would be the protein and fat-rich larvae within the nest. Which, of course, isn't what we are after. We are after the honey inside the hive, and that's what humans love. Humans love sugar. And so we are going to hopefully actually get a queen some point. Now, I would definitely not say that the Argentavis over here is perfectly adapted. Oh, there goes an Archaeopteryx. Oh, wow. We'll talk about Archaeopteryx at some point as well. We need to tame one, just because. But I wouldn't say Argentavis over here is actually well adapted to breaking open the beehives. They're not nimble enough to really perch on the tree, as one would expect them to be able to do if they are to be opening up beehives. Their massive wings also mean that they are not the most nimble of creatures, especially not in densely wooded areas like we have here. And you'll find that most species that live in densely wooded areas, or most bird species at least, will have relatively short wings and long thin tails, which increases maneuverability in this type of environment. Something is running very quick over there. That's okay. There's a Troodon after that Gallimimus. There's another beehive over here. You know, when in the redwoods, break open every beehive you find. These would be the hives of some kind of eusocial bee, like the common honeybee we have nowadays, the western honeybee, Apis mellifera. Now we can't go back empty-handed, so I have just picked up this Doedicurus, a little 52 one. That's not too bad. It's better than most of our dinosaurs that we have. And this Doedicurus was under attack by a Microraptor, which is somewhere at the back there. And so I have saved her, and we are going to go back with her to our base. And I'll see you there. Now, let's take a good look at you, shall we? Now, this here then, of course, is one of the largest Dimetrodon species that has ever existed. It is the Doedicurus. Now, Doedicurus over here was, as I've mentioned, one of the Dimetrodons, and Dimetrodons were characterized by these massive dome-shaped shells, similar to a tortoise or turtle or terrapin. We've got a whole bunch of scutes forming it, similar to the closest living relatives of the Doedicurus over here, the armadillos, which still have those bands of armored plates all around here. Now, there are a few things wrong with it, obviously. So Doedicurus, as far as I recall, did not have massive spikes on its little body over here, although it does make it look a little bit more like a formidable tank. Yes, you need all the defense you can get, a little one. But it also has this relatively flexible tail, which is correct. However, the spike is slightly wrong. So in life, the spike was actually more of a flat spike. Imagine this, but more flattened from the top, as if something heavier or bigger, like an elephant, sat on it. As far as I recall, no spikes actually have been found of the species, but there are indentations in the club that would indicate that there may have been spikes like these attached to the club. And then the club obviously was a nice little weight at the tip of the tail, and it seems that they could swing this at about 40 kilometers an hour or 25 miles an hour, and with that could generate quite a bit of force. Now, there are two theories as to what the club was actually used for. One is that, yes, it could have been used as an anti-predator defense. However, it seems that the Doedicurus and Dimetrodons overall had relatively poor eyesight, and as a result, they could only really accurately hit something that was standing still. Now, what on earth would stand still and wait to be hit by a Doedicurus tail? And the answer seems to be other Doedicurus, with males most likely engaging in ritualized fighting with one another by smacking each other with their tails. And there are some marks and punctures, not really punctures, but wounds on the carapaces that have been found of the Dimetrodons that match the size and the force that would have been generated by other Dimetrodon tail clubs. So they most likely were hitting one another with their massive tail clubs. But that is not to say that it couldn't have been used as a defense against predators. Now, these guys would not have been able to roll up into balls, which unfortunately means that you would not have been able to get on top of it and roll around like this, as you can see in the game over here. So you would not have been able to do this. They also would not have been able to roll around in a little ball like this. There are very few animals that actually are able to roll around like that. There are some spiders that will do that. They're known as cartwheel spiders. And I'm sure we'll talk about them at some point as well. Okay. Why are you doing projectile orbiting poop? Oh, you made two poop and the one just shot up into the air. Well, that's a first. Congratulations. Anyway, now the Dimetrodons over here were most likely bulk grazers. Now they have relatively wide mouths, as you can more or less see over here, which indicates that they weren't very selective in what they were eating. And being this short and occurring in the pampas, in the grasslands of South America, they would most likely have been bulk grazers, feeding on a lot of grass, all the grass they could find. And in terms of height, yeah, they were about 1.5 meters high, which is about the size of our character over here. Now, in front of the shell there, you can also see a bit of a hump on the shell, and it is believed that may have actually been space where underneath the animal could store a hump of fat, similar to a camel's hump, which will be fat stored for the lean times. Now, what is weird about the creature over here is that it was apparently not very good at chewing its food. And remember when your parents told you that you must chew your food? Well, there's a good reason for that. Chewing your food means that you are able to digest your food better and get more nutrients from it. With the Dodicarus over here, most likely not really grinding up their food properly, they wouldn't have been as good at digestion. and as a result they may actually have had very, very slow metabolisms, similar to another one of their relatives, the sloth. Now we also have in here another, hiding a little bit, another little new creature. Oh, wait, there we go. Oh yes, certainly one of the most characteristic creatures, Dimetrodon, the weird sailback dinosaur, even though it was not a dinosaur. This thing is more closely related to you and me than it is to dinosaurs, for they are what we call synapsids. Now, synapsids are creatures that behind the eye there should be one hole in the skull or one indentation. You can kind of feel it if you go behind your eyes. You can feel that bit of an indentation. That is your temporal fenestra, and that is the hole in your skull. They are different from the other sauropsids, or diapsids I think they are also called, which are the things like the birds and reptiles would have those. They have two holes in the back behind their eyes. So they are, these ones here being synapsids, they're also what we used to call mammal-like reptiles, because even though they looked very reptilian, they in essence were more closely related to mammals than to actual reptiles. And some of the synapsids, especially later on the therapsids, would actually have fur, although it is highly unlikely that Dimetrodon over here actually had fur. No evidence has been found of that. Of course, it did sport this massive sail at the top here, and there have been many theories as to why. Of course, the most common one is that this was used as thermoregulation, similar to the other big sail-backed creature, Spinosaurus over there, which was also believed to have used it as thermoregulation. But it seems that the Dimetrodon over here most likely did not actually use it for thermoregulation. They have done tests with it, and they, well, not actually with a living specimen, they have built models of it and modeled how long it would actually take to gain heat. And by the time they may have gained heat with their sail, it was already the next day. So it wasn't really that, well, not quite the next day, but close. So not quite as effective as one would have thought for the thermoregulation. The alternative, of course, is that this was used in display or species recognition. Now, to date, 20 species had been described, although many of them have now been lumped with other species or have been put in other genera. But originally, 20 species of Dimetrodon were actually classified. Most of them actually from North America. And then one species has been found in Germany as well. Dimetrodon teutonicus, I believe it was. And you can imagine that being able to identify other members of your species may actually have been a good use of the sail, especially if they had different patterns on them to indicate different species. The Dimetrodon over here we have got in this little enclosure, because this is going to be where we hatch our eggs. I have already hatched a few Hesperornis chicks over here as well, and we are going to be hatching a bunch of other creatures as well. But he is living in there quite happy. Now, Dimetrodon actually means two-form teeth, because they were one of the first groups, or the synapsids overall were actually one of the first groups to have canine-like teeth, and different types of teeth, different structured teeth. And you can already see, if I crawl down here, you can already see the canine-like teeth over there. Those are what we call caniniform teeth. Teeth which are like canines, or shaped like canines. And reptiles don't have that, but we as mammals do. And that's just another indication that we are closer to Dimetrodon than Dimetrodon would be to reptiles, even though they look very, very reptilian. Very characteristic creature with a sail and the weird mouth over there. But with the teeth like those, you can imagine they were most definitely carnivorous. They were feeding on all kinds of things that they found in their habitat. Now, just before we end this episode, just a reminder that I will be streaming again tomorrow. We are carrying on with Subnautica, and in the last episode we built our Cyclops, so we will be heading off into the deeper areas of the oceans on planet 4546b. And along the way we will of course be exploring and finding out a little bit more about the creatures that are present on the planet there. So join me tomorrow evening, Saturday evening, well, for South African time, 7 o'clock until 11 o'clock for 4 hours. I'll have the times of your time zones down in the description below this video. Feel free to pop in. I will also be breaking up this stream into 4 episodes, which will be released in the coming week as well. And then also, there is a new game releasing on Wednesday, and you can expect a little surprise episode. Hopefully, if it isn't too expensive, the game, you can expect a little surprise episode of that on Wednesday. So until next time, everybody, stay safe. I will see you all soon. Bye.